going on, I just realized that my broadcast didn't go live, and I have been talking to myself for the last 20 minutes. So let's do this again, everybody. Hey everybody, welcome to EFP Live. It's been a while since I've done this, and OBS decided it didn't want to go live, and I didn't know that. So it's fixed, we're good, we're here, we're starting now, and we're going to be diving into all of the things that are Tales of the Valiant. So what are we talking about today? Why are we doing Tales of the Valiant? Today is the beginning of Kobold Con. It is also the drop for Tales of the Valiant. If you backed it on Kickstarter, you got access to it already. I got it as a content creator. And then also people who were, I believe pre-orders get it later, but those who are content or backed the Kickstarter got it already. And there's 2 books. And these are fat books, everybody. I mean, fat books. So the TOV Player's Guide is 387 along with the Monster Vault. Both of them coming in at 387 pages. They talk a lot about page count when they were doing this, saying like, hey, we got to hit our goal. If we go over our page count, we're kind of fucked. Like we need to keep it tight. So today we're going to go over them. I have a mem pulled up so we can take notes if we need it. And then if you see me cut to record things, it's just because I'm cutting it because I'm going to be doing something for for YouTube later. So this is a live broadcast. I'm going to chop this live broadcast up and put some other things out later as well. I have my nifty little live recording piece here, and let me get back into the piece I need here. I'm so mad that this didn't go live. I had like a couple of really good pieces, and it didn't record it because it didn't start, and my go live button was blue. So I don't know what happened there. I had to click it on and off twice. Gotta love when technology doesn't work for you. I take a couple weeks off, and this is what happens. This is what happens. It is. That's what happens. So let's dive into what we're looking at today, everybody. We have a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to do a quick open here. And this open is what I'm going to cut to put into the YouTube piece. So let's get into the show, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Erik Frankhouse Presents. This is EFP Live. Normally I go over video games, but today I'm done with video games. I'm just kidding. I don't do video games anymore. I just stopped. I don't do it anymore. So let's talk about Tales of the Valiant, everybody. We have a lot of stuff to go over. This is fat books, and we're not going to be able to go through all of it. We're not going to be able to. There's just too much book. Too much book. But we do have enough to go over. So let's go over to the table. And let's talk about all the awesomeness. So, fat PDFs. The first thing you may notice here is I am on the cover of the book. Now, I'm kidding, not really. The other book. So this is the Player's Guide, everyone. A lot of people don't know some of this unless you watched when I was working for Kobold Press. But the art here, you'll notice that there's a dragon in the background. That is the same as the Monster Vault, him hitting the wizard with fire. Now, I don't work for them anymore, right? I'm not contracted by them right now. So I can say this a little bit more. That is a little homage and bump to burning Wizards of the Coast. I mean, think about it. It's a big red dragon burning a wizard. And it's this wizard. And he is holding a skull. Yes, that is correct. He is holding a skull. So, let's get into this. While I'm not the person on the cover, I do look like the collector's edition cover. That was a running joke at Gen Con. That looks like me on the cover. If I had a little pointy hat, that's me on the cover. So the first thing we have to look at is table of contents. When I am digesting a new book, I look for the things that are different, and this is a really different situation. So this is a 5e parallel book, or a 5e adjacent book. And for those who were around during 3.0, 3.5, we went through a really weird era of uncertainty, I will say. So we had a game that we were playing and put a bunch of money into it. I mean, a bunch of money into it. And with that money being what it is, we were hoping we would get to play 3.0 and 3.5 forever, but 4th edition came out. Paizo picked up the mantle and ran with Pathfinder 1st edition. 4th edition came out, what happened with that happened. And now we fast forward to the 5th edition era with the OGL. The OGL was a big upset. And I don't mean from a publisher standpoint. That's a different conversation. But OGL from the consumer side and the developer side, for those third-party publishers, they didn't know if they're going to be able to make anything anymore. When that happened, a bunch of people band together. Paizo picked up the mantle yet again to help make the Orc license. They went through the same lawyer that helped make the original OGL, and a bunch of people signed on board, one of them being Cobalt Press for the Orc license. And that was the game plan. They announced Project Black Flag as a kind of, fuck you to Wizards of the Coast for screwing over everybody. And because of that, they kind of gained this big momentum, this big wave. And the name changed. Black Flag is now their open source material that you can use to develop things for the Black Flag system, or Tales of the Valiant. Tales of the Valiant is, I like to say, Cobalt Press's dressing on it. Now, in all transparency, for those who don't know, I was contracted to work for Cobalt Press as the media director for them. I did all of their live shows. I helped them set up everything, and then Kendrick took over after I left. And there is a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I'm excited to see, I could never talk about, if it made it into this final product. They're an amazing team, and Celeste and Wolfgang and the designers that were involved are really, really solid designers, especially when it comes to 5e. So for them to pick up the mantle and run with it, I'm excited to see what the final version of this looks like. So let's take a look at the actual books. Let's see what there is. With that said, I am going to be doing some recording during this. I will probably reshoot a couple things. So if you see me stop and redo something, this is live. I'm going to cut things out and edit it. So if I have something that's really good, but I want it to shot to be a little different, I may re-record something. I don't see that happening very often. When the camera's running and working, I'm kind of a one-take person. So grab yourself something to drink. We're going to be here for a little bit. I don't know how deep into this we're going to get. This may be a two-parter. We may not even get to the Monster Vault today, short of art, because monster books take a really long time to dive through. You may notice that I am brighter today. It's daylight out. I usually don't film during the day. And these here, because I've been sick for the last 2 weeks. But show must go on, right? Right. Well, Raven is going to be proud. I'm going to say the thing I say every time we have our Patreon game. And I'm going to say this better be hyperlinked. This better be hyperlinked. So with that, we're going to go right into chapter 1. I have not opened these PDFs other than to put them on screen, scroll to make sure they work. That was it. It's hyperlinked. Bravo, Cobalt Press, you already win. No, I'm just kidding. I'm very happy that this is something that is hyperlinked. Hyperlinks make or break a book for me as someone who does a lot of online paid GMing, streaming, and content creation. Hyperlinks are just pivotal to the game. So thank you for making this a PDF that is hyperlinked. There are a few changes in character creation in TOV. By the way, I'm going to call it TOV for the rest of the show. I'm not going to keep saying Tales of the Valiant. TOV is the abbreviation for it, if you don't know. I know, hyperlink, everybody drink. I know. Raven would say the same thing. So we have a lot of people who ran 5e in the past. And one of their pillars when they were making this game was to make sure that it runs with 5e, runs parallel, like interchangeably so much so that they said that if you play a fighter from 5e and a fighter from TOV, they could play at the same table. There may be a little bit of a power creep in the beginning because they wanted people to feel more powerful in those lower levels. So we'll see if that's true. I don't see why not. From my time running Valiant Soil, I had the chance to make all of the iconic characters, and I was super excited for those iconic characters to come out, and they're now something you can use. They've been rewritten and people redid the backgrounds, but I made them for Valiant Soil. So the major thing, and I'm going to use the highlighter for this, everybody. The major thing you're going to notice here is when you create your character, one, you choose a class. When I asked Celeste why, they said that you needed to know your stat before you build the rest of your character. I can't really disagree with that. I just never thought of it that way. After that, you'll notice that they changed a couple of things as you go through. You choose your class, you do your ability scores. Ability scores are the same, those have not changed. 3 ways to do scores: rolling, point buy, very easy, standard array. Done, everyone knows that. This is where it gets different. Your lineage and your heritage. So here's what this is in kind of a nutshell. They decided that they were going to cut the word race, split it into 2 things, similar to what we saw with Pathfinder with Ancestry and whatnot. And you have more options now when you go to build your characters, which means every character doesn't feel samey. And that has been my argument with 5e. I think since maybe like the 3rd or 4th character I made, I felt like when you make a fighter, every fighter felt the same. When you make a rogue, every rogue felt the same until you hit around that like 5th, 6th level. And it wasn't fun. Every dwarf was the same. Every elf was the same. This fixes that. So for those who don't know, that's going to change kind of how you look at character building in here. They also changed something else that's pretty cool. Backgrounds, by the way. This better be upgraded from 5e. I don't remember, other than backgrounds giving you talent, which was pretty cool. But 5e's backgrounds were boring to me. Starting equipment's right on the page. And this is clutch. For all my Pathfinder fans, when we play higher level games, you didn't get a chance to do this. See what I'm saying? Like you didn't know where to find it. Well, now when I say make a 5th level character, you know you get 500 gold plus a d10 times 25 gold, standard starting equipment. And then if you're doing a high magic campaign, there's a second part. So these little pieces here are big to me to have for playing, because after a while you don't start at 1st level anymore, and in any game really. So I love that they added that. I think that was super smart. I think that if they wouldn't have added that, we would have been digging around in a book trying to find what it is, like where you would find that information. There is something that I am noticing immediately that's missing, is I'm wondering where the GM's stuff is at. Because the GM book they did separately, I believe, and it's only 2 books set for this. I'm really curious to see what that's going to look like. I feel the weakness in most, I would say almost all games, is their inability to make a good GM's book to teach players how to do that. I feel like it's missing most of the time. And that sucks. That really kind of sucks, to me at least. So I'm hoping that we can see something maybe in one of these books. I didn't look at it that deeply to know if we're getting it, but something to keep in mind. Hey Nessie, how are you doing? No, you're fine. I'm recording this now for people later. Have a good one, Serving Hands. So the final checklist, I'm glad they added this in. I highlighted this before my recording because the recording didn't happen. But this I would like to see on a character sheet somewhere, I think. I think this would be a great checklist with boxes so people can go, did I do my things? On the back, a sidecar. Daggerheart has the little sidecars. Or maybe a bookmark that goes inside of your book. and it's dry erase, so you could mark the things off. I think this would be great with page numbers. I really like page numbers in character sheets and in books. So that's kind of cool that they have this, but I would like to see it somewhere else. Leveling methods, same thing. Milestones, we've seen that 100 times. Experience, I don't know how encounter building works. I am curious to see how that works. We may not get into encounter building today. I'm hoping we do eventually. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'm actually going to make a note for that, though. I'm going to put a encounter building. I'm going to put a note to look it up, because I think that's going to be something pretty pivotal. All right, there we go. Texts. Showing the first heat wave. Ooh, baseball in the heat, man. Have fun with that. So, hit points, hit dice, all that stuff. Multi-classing. I did talk about this before, but we'll talk about it again. Multi-classing is super cool. I'm really happy that multi-classing is added into this. I do feel that it was a breaking point in 5e. I feel like the power gaming really happened when people were multi-classing like crazy in 5e. But I love that they added prereqs. This kind of harkens back to first and second edition to me. I like this. I like that this is here. I think this is great. I think that they added something cool for it. I like the proficiencies gained. We'll see how crazy characters get with TOV, because it's early. The expansion and bloat isn't there yet. You know what I'm saying? It's not there yet. So down here, spells. I should talk about spells briefly. Art, by the way, all of the art is fantastic. They crush it with art. I think that was one of my favorite things to see when at the company working with them, was to see the flow of art. Their art is so good. It's so good. And they don't really ever fail in that department. Mark and them crush putting art out for this company. So I am really excited to see what all made it in the book. I saw a lot of the art, but it wasn't all done. So I'm curious to see what happens. You'll notice they have multi-classing spell levels here. Elements of the character sheet. I would love to have seen page numbers. I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks that, but I would love to see page numbers here where these little bubbles are for people for key things, so they could look up where stuff is. I know it's here. No, it's not even here. I just think it helps teaching people. That's my belief, at least. Character sheet's pretty standard. Again, great art. Character classes. They said that you're going to be able to play this in line with 5e, so they kept all the core ones. The only class that has been added is the Mechanist, which is Celeste's version of the Artificer, or Artificer, depending on who's pronouncing it. So it looks good. I'm excited about this. I saw the original design for it, so I'm pretty excited to see where it went in the end. Is there a class anyone really loves that we can dissect, that someone would like to look at while we're here? So magic source, spells, spell circles. Spell circles are levels. Those, a lot of people don't know this. So when you're doing tabletop or running tabletop, specifically 5e, a lot of people don't know that the level of your spell is not the same as your character level. You're not casting third level spells at third level, and that confused a shit ton of people, so much so that Pathfinder 2 just did away with it and made 20 level spells. This version, they just renamed them to circles. I actually really like circles. There's a hot debate about if circles is right or not. I think it's a great word for it. I think circles is, to me, circles is the thing that I think of like rings of power. I think that's a really good description for it. And then they kept spell slots as well. So really cool. Excited for that. I love that they added that in. Cantrips and rituals are still there. They got to be there for 5e. I would love a list of changes from 5e, but I think it would have been too much for them. This is its own system. Yeah, it definitely is. Spell casting distinctions. So let's take a look at that. You have Bard, Cleric, Druid, Paladin, Ranger, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. They break down the source of magic, the ability score that is tied, if they get cantrip, because there are a few. Rangers do not get cantrips. If they get rituals, there's a lot that don't get rituals. Maybe there's a talent that you can take to get rituals. How many spells known? Oh, okay. So it's like several divine, primordial, small number spell book. Okay, I get it. And then if you're a preparation caster or not. And then we got our first one, our barbarian. Our lovely barbarian. They're bear race. Or lineage and heritage. I'll get it eventually. So the breakdown for a class looks very similar to 5e because they aren't changing anything. They wanted to make sure that we had the same access to things as we did in 5e, so you can play them side by side. Okay? Cool? Cool. Cool? Super cool. So let me pull up something here. I'm going to pull up some White Bat. I want some different music here. This is a little too chill for me right now. I don't feel very the mood for me. I do like it. Let's do this one. Little more upbeat. So we have all the normal class features: hit points, hit die, proficiencies, armor, weapon, tools, saves, skills. Your starting equipment, I've always liked the AB stuff from 5e. I think that's great. Rage. So you got your rage when you start, just like normal. I think these are similar. You have an advantage on strength ability checks and saves. When you make a melee attack using strength, you gain a bonus to damage roll, which increases when you gain levels. Rage damage column, barbarian, progression table. So yeah, they're making sure they stay similar. Maybe I'll do a class breakdown if people ask for it. If you want a class breakdown, put something down below. Maybe I'll put a pull up for the class everybody wants a breakdown on. I'm really not into doing that kind of stuff, but if it's something people want, do it. A lot of unarmored stuff, danger sense, everything. So levels 1 to 20. Here's what I wanted to point out though. So all the normal things that you see, notice there's no dead feature level. There's none. There's no dead feature level. Like, hold on here. Let me look up Barbarian for 5e. Let's do a comparison. Let's pull up D&D 5e 5th edition Barbarian, okay? So right now, I'm going to slide this over, covering myself up so I can see. I'm going to slide this over so I can see them both. All right. So we have Rage, and I here's the Chrome for it, so you guys can see. I'll flip back and forth. So here's the Chrome, right? Okay. So I'm just that's what I'm reading on. Where I'm just gonna go level by level. I'm only doing this for one class. One class. That's all I'm doing it for. I want it to work. See what it looks like. Give me 1 sec here for the live show. I want to mark this because I think this is a section I'm going to cut so I can use it for something. Where does this go? I'd like to know where this saves to. Okay, it's active. Cool. That's what I wanted to know. I have a timestamper piece where I can click because there's no way to mark, for the OBS people who are here, there's no way to mark your timers in YouTube. So like Twitch has a marker, you hit it, you mark, crop. There's none of that for this. So I have to have something else that I put together to work for it, but I forgot to turn it on. So we'll see if it works. Anyway, so back to this. So what I want to do here, I'm going to do a comparison between the 5e Barbarian and the Tales of the Valiant Barbarian. And I have them both up on screen right now. You're only going to be able to see one at a time, but I'm going to leave the TOV one up while I look at the 5e one, and we're going to compare and see if anything is different, and if so, what is different. I have some ideas. I think level 10 and 20 are going to surprise the people who are 5e fans, and I think surprise in a good way. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So this is the Tales of the Valiant one, just so you know in the background. This is the 5e one. Here's what we got here. We have Rage and Unarmored Defense. That's the same. I'm not going to go through and break down if they're different or not. The bonuses are the same. All that looks like nothing's changed. Reckless Attack, Danger Sense, those are still there. The next one is Barbarian subclass at 3rd level. So this is a big change in TOV's architecture overall. At 3rd level, you're going to pick a subclass for every single class. It's the thing that makes your character different than my character. I love this. I loved it when I had to make characters for Valiant Soil and make the iconics. I like it when a barbarian can stand next to another barbarian and feel different, or just class next to class can feel different. I think that is important when designing a game. So we have that here. For Tales of the Valiant, you get to have a barbarian subclass, but when you go over to 3rd level here, you get Primal Path and Primal Knowledge optional. Primal Path, and I am going to scroll down for this. There are your paths that you get. Zealot, some Xanathar's Guide, and all that kind of stuff. But they're not the same, I don't feel, as the subclasses they did in here. I feel like the subclasses have a lot more to them in TOV than they did in this, which is cool. Improvement, we both know what an improvement is. I believe it's an ability score improvement in 5e, right? But in TOV, an improvement, you choose one of the following. You can either choose a single ability score by 2, increase 2 different ability scores by 1 each, or increase an ability score by 1 and select a talent from the Martial Talent Tree. So that allows you to really flesh out your character. And to me, when I think about 5e, people forget feats were optional in 5e. They're not part of the game inherently. They're an optional thing. They're baked into this to give you choices. So I think that's a great choice to me, to leave that in there is something you get to do. So that's already different. We have extra attack. What are we at? Level 5. So level 5 here. Fast movement, multi-attack, same thing. 2 slash attack action. The fast movement's still there. Then you get path feature at 6. For them, it's Feral Instinct. Let's see what Feral Instinct is. 6th level Barbarian feature. Your honed instincts give you advantage on initiative rolls. Ooh, that's kind of cool. In addition, if you're surprised at the beginning of combat, you aren't incapacitated. You can act normally on your first turn. If you're to enter rage before doing anything else on that turn. Okay, well, that's cool. I like that. That's not bad. And then you get a subclass feature at 7. So that's what we just talked about. Another improvement. Brutal Critical, +1 die. We're going to look at that. In 9th level, you get Brutal Critical. That's the same, so never mind. No change. What's up, Trickster? No change at all. That's the same. Heroic Boon at 10th. 10th is Path feature, Primal Knowledge optional in 5e. This is where a big change happens in classes at 10 and 20. So let's scroll down and let's look at the Heroic Boon. Your commitment to Barbarian Path grants you a powerful ability. Choose one of the following heroic benefits or boons. Instant Rage. You can rage, no bonus action required. If you don't remember 5e's action economy, it is a bunch of different actions that you can take. So you have your move, your action, your bonus, your reaction, and your free action. So 5 technically, right? And then there are things that take both move and action, like a full round action, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what they're talking about here, just so you know why that's important. That means you're not wasting a bonus action, which allows you to do other things with your bonus action, like attack. Stubborn Rage. Your rage ends only when its duration expires. You fall unconscious, or you choose to end it. So instead of it going away from not being able to attack, or maybe your subclass has something special, it range only ends when the duration expires, or you choose to do it. So that's kind of nice. Lots of new features in there. Persistent Rage is, what is that, 14? Path feature is what it is in 5e. 15 subclass feature. Oh, 15 and 5e is Persistent Rage. It's 14 to fill the gap, because 14 is a path feature. And they just ditched that and put Persistent Rage in, and then put a subclass feature in at 15. So they're making sure the stagger is the same. In every class, if I remember correctly, your class features from your subclass are always at the same levels. Your boons are always at 10 and at 20. If I remember correctly. And then they got an epic one where you get a primal at 20, which is pretty cool. Primal Champion. So improvement, Bruticortical, that's 16 and 17. Ability score improvement, that's the same. Indomitable Might, Bruticortical, Indomitable Might, same. Unyielding Might is what they call it here. I wonder what the rename is for. At 18, it's Unyielding versus 5e's Indomitable. Why would they have changed it? Why would they have changed it? Did it change what it does? That's the real question. So in 5e, originally, beginning 18th level, this is really hard to read. Beginning 18th level, if your total for strength check is less than your strength score, you can use that score in place of the total. Okay, so what is it over in TOV? Unyielding Might, you have perfected the application of might and metal. You gain the following benefits. I also love the little fluff stuff that they put in here. When you make an ability check score using strength or con, that's awesome. Treat any d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. So basically, stopping that 50-50 failure. Your melee weapon attacks deal additional damage equivalent to your strength score to objects and structures. Okay, that's different. They changed it pretty heavily. I mean, it's a high-level ability, but still changed. I like that. I think that's a good change. And then we talked about up here that at 3rd level, you have your subclass. Your subclass choices are Barbarian, which is Berserker, or you can pick Wild Fury. And each one of these classes after that are going to have those changes. So I'm going to we're going to flip through these just so that we can see the art. I'm not going to go through every class. These are the iconics, right? But I will stop when we get to the Artificer, their version of the Artificer, the mechanism. I love this Druid. Druid art's cool. She kind of looks... Does anyone else think she looks a little bit like the Druid from the D&D movie? Does anyone else feel that? For those who have seen this, I feel like that is the Druid from the D&D movie. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know if that's on purpose. There was a lot of talk about Druids when I was there, and how a Druid should play in the game. And I kind of wonder if this is their kind of stab at D&D, maybe? I don't know. I could be wrong. It looks like the one from it, to me at least. Let's keep going. Right, Nessie? I'm not crazy, right? Like, hold on here. D&D movie Druid. Let's see if we can find an image for this. I mean, fucking... That's pretty fucking close, boys and girls. I see you. Cobalt Press. I feel like you did this on purpose. I'm just saying. Eh? If so, good stab. I like it. Picasso. Let's see what else we got here. Keep going through here. This is cool. I love this. Druid signs and symbols. This is a nice little added feature. Little hidden symbols. Intertwined flowers. Black stones in a bird's nest. Acorn. I like these kind of little things. I like that they kept with the blue motif for it too. I think that looks really good. That's a great design choice. That's cool. Good job. Good job. Is that another one? Wait, do all of the classes? This emblem features a stylized sickle with 2 holy leaves flanking it. Do all the classes have this? They do. I dig that. I like the little accoutrement on the side here, everybody. Yeah, it's 5 of the sealed numbers off, yeah. I like the accoutrement on the side for the class. Smart. I'll let them make dice and books later that have those images. I think that's real smart. I love this fighter. If those of you who are fighter fans, the Tales of the Valiant fighter, if you are a 5e fan, is far superior and fun. And specifically when you get to your subclasses, the Spellblade is so cool. It is so cool. There's a lot of really fun stuff you can do. New art, I've not seen this. But you get to enchant your weapon, and if I remember correctly, you can throw your weapon and call it back. If I remember correctly. Yeah, 3rd level, same plane. Yeah, if it's on the same plane of existence as you can use a bonus action to summon your weapon. This is a cool art too. I don't see you throwing a sword, so that's entertaining. I think that's a weird choice. But I guess if you're not throwing it, you can just call it to you. You can have it anywhere. Someone could steal it from you, whatever. That's cool. I like the shield and sword. Great choice. Weapon mastery. Great choice. There are some cool stunts with fighter that I think are awesome. And there's some really cool weapon abilities in TOV that I think weren't in every iteration of the playtest. So I'm excited to see that. Well, that's kind of cool looking. Awesome. Mechanist. Okay. This is going to be their version of the Artificer. I have not looked at this fully. We didn't have one in Tales of the Valiant. It wasn't completed while I was with them, so I had no reason to look at it yet, right? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of want to look through this one a little bit. I like the art. Is that an orc or a goblin? What does it say? Hold on here. Does it have a hover over? It does. It's an orc. I like that too. Cyberpunk did some really cool stuff where it like acknowledged the artist and put the artist's name in. I do wish they would have put the artist's name there. I love knowing whose art a piece is. You know what I mean? What does it say? Would you say Matt would use a broadsword like a javelin? I mean, it's true. So we have all the normal stuff. D10's a lot of hit points for them. I'm a little shocked by that. Light and medium armor and shields. Simple weapons, martial weapons. Conn and int. I kind of figured those would be the scores. These guys are a little tankier, though. Eyes of the Maker. You touch a magical item or something magical imbued object, you learn its properties, so you can just identify things. Shards of Creation. You learn how to craft a Shard of Creation, which is a tiny magical object with many uses that appears on your person. It's in the base state. The shard appears constantly shifting fluid bundle of plasma. Huh. Okay. A shard vanishes instantly if you are slain. Your possession for more than 24 hours. If the shard is destroyed, you lose it. You can perform a 1-hour ritual. So it's like a familiar. The shard has a number of charges equal to your int modifier. What do you use the shard for? Inspire? Make a touch attack to the shard, regardless of the current form. You can spend 1 charge to roll a d6 and add that number roll to your check result. Okay. Transform. When touching the shard, you can use an action to transform it to any shape of a non-magical weapon. Well, Todd, if you are watching this while you're on vacation, this is the class for you. This is Todd's class, everybody. This is the thing he would play. 100%. This is his. This is what he would use. So, non-magical weapon or shield of any type, medium size or smaller. The object appears in an unoccupied space within 10 foot. Okay, that's cool. I like that. You can turn things in. What's the gold piece value? The total value of gold pieces of the object can be no more than 20. 20 per mechanist level. That means you can make some really crazy stuff later. Huh. And it retains its new form until you die. Use an action to return it to its original state. Or use an action to transform it again. Okay, that's cool. And you can augment him. What are your augments? Here, let's see. Mechanist progression table. Must be somewhere else for that thing. Efficient action. This is a great builder crafter class. I dig this. This is really cool. What is their heroic boon? Curse of Unmaking. As an action, you can make a melee spell attack using your augment attack modifier against a creature or item within reach. On successful hit, the target becomes cursed so that it is vulnerable to all damage. The target is a creature. It can attempt a con save against your augmented save DC. See augmented effects each time it takes a new instance of damage, ending the curse on success. Okay, that's kind of cool. Or you can mend the broken. So you break things or fix things. Heal and harm. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at a heal and harm ability for building stuff as an engineer. It's cool. Okay, well, let's go back to looking at the art. I'm not going to read the whole class. That's not what this stream is for. Awesome art for the monk. Pretty cool. A fist for the monk. I mean, what else would it be for the image? What's their heroic boon? All the heroic... Remember, they were only at 10th level before. They were only at 10th level, I think, during the playtest. Who we got here? 10th level heroic boon, purity of body. Oh, it's the immunity to disease, poison, and all that kind of stuff. What's the second one? Purity of mind. Gives you an advantage on wisdom saves. As a bonus action, you can end one effect on your, on yourself. That's actually really nice. Am I the only one who read this briefly as fuckering dark? Am I the only person who did? I swear to God, I looked up and I thought that said fuckering dark. I wish that was what it actually said. Oh, it's not, but that's what I thought it said. Paladin art, I've seen this before. Pretty cool. I've always liked this kind of cavalier art. I think this is great for the Paladin. Big fan. Oh, it's the chess piece for horse. I like that. That's cool. What is it? Justice, and what's the other option for them? I think it's Justice and Cavalier, Justice and Champion. Devoted. Devotion, okay. They even have some nice player advice stuff here. I always read the wrong thing. Player advice, I like that. That's cool. Ranger, always like this art. Miniature was made for this. Wolf head for it, very Ranger. I don't know if I would have done a wolf head though. I think I would have done a bow. Personally, I feel like a bow is more synonymous to me with Ranger than a wolf is. Still cool though. I love that they have the little icons. I've seen this art somewhere before. Great Rogue. Love this art. Oh, and look, same thing. They did it again. Thieves' Cant and Symbols. Flame, Thieves' Guild, Secret Door, Trap, Closed Eye. Those are cool. I wish they were a little more secretive. Like, I think everyone knows in Thieves' Cant that this is a fucking trap. Like, I don't think that this is surprising anyone. You're not hiding that. The quick build options are great everywhere too. I think that's great that they added those. Awesome. Great sorcerer art. First gnome I think that we've seen. Wolves do have range? I mean, yeah, I guess. More like rage. I'm glad the sorcerers are in here. I know I would like to see what the sorcerer hits. Like their heroic abilities, because that's the big thing right now. And sorcerers are one of those ones I feel have needed some love forever. Todd loves sorcerers because they're spontaneous casters. I like them. I think they're cool in concept, but sorcery points are still here. Flexible casting still here. Okay. What's their heroic, though? What's their heroic ability? That's all. There we go. Arcane Instruction. New ways to tap into your magical sources whenever you fail an ability check. Magical sources, when you fail ability check, spend sorcery points to charisma as a result, potentially turning failure into success. Okay, so they basically can take bad into good with some points. And you get an innate spell of first or second circle. Remember, that's like first or second level in 5e. From Arcane Primordial Weird Spell list. You can cast that spell at the lowest circle by expending a number of sorcery points. Okay, so you got like an innate one. I mean, I don't know if I love this. I don't know if I love this. Just being able to have a spell that you cast. I mean, it's okay. Do you guys think that's good? Do you think that's a good heroic boon? Spells per day? I don't know. It seems a little that's a little weak to me. Would like something else in that slot than that, but whatever. Maybe in practice it works better. I have not played a sorcerer in so long. Maybe to sorcerer fans out there, this is like the bee's knees. That is fucking cool looking. That speaks to the body horror part of me right there. That is hot. Right now, favorite piece of art. Favorite piece of art right here. Page is this on? For those who are looking at this stuff later on, this art is awesome for a caster. Specifically a sorcerer, so why is it? What is the chaos magic? It's probably chaos magic, right? Oh, subclass is chaos, or volatile magic, embrace chaos, inflict disorder, apotheosis of discord. Winner right here, boys and girls. This is awesome. I want this. I'm playing this. Whenever I make a sorcerer, that's my art. Also, for those of you who play games, have you ever just picked art from the book and made a character around it and played it? Because that's that piece. That's that piece that would inspire me to make a character based around it. 100%. So cool. Oh, look at the volatile effect. Someone give me a D100. I'm going to read how volatile magic works. Someone give me a D100 in chat. See if it's working, first off. What do we have here? Apotheosis of Discord. Where's volatile magic? The magic that courses through you is unpredictable at best, dangerous at worst. When you cast a spell from first circle or higher, you must roll a D20 against your volatile save DC. On failure, the spell's effects happen, but the spell becomes volatile, and you must roll on the volatile spell effect table and determine the additional effects of that spell. 37, awesome. So volatile spell effect. What's a DC? DC is equal to 20 minus your sorcerer level minus the circle of the spell of magic. So the higher level you are, the lower the DC is. And you have to beat it? So you're triggering this stuff a lot to begin with, because if you are level 1, right, and you are casting a first level circle, that's 2. I mean, the volatile save is 18. So does that mean so you'd be, actually, minimum you'd be 3rd, because it's a 3rd level feature. So 3rd, so 4. So you're looking at a 16 save. And if you fail it, the spell goes off and the volatile effect. Any effects created by the volatile spell that require a save use your sorcerer DC. Okay, so let's see what 37 is. This is 37 right here. Your skin glows with a pale, colorful light for 1 hour. You gain a bonus to AC equal to half your sorcerer level. Oh, so these aren't negatives. Because they're good. You want to fail them. Were they good? No, not all good. understand this. This math doesn't math for me. Do you want volatile spells? Huh. Oh, you want them to happen. You want them to happen. So 20 minus your level minus a spell circle. And it even talks about luck. You can spend luck as normal on the d20 roll to determine whether your magic is volatile. However, if you make a volatile magic roll when you have 0 luck, roll twice, take the higher result. So I bet you the higher results in this table are worse. Let's go down to like the 90s. Number of teeth, 1d4 plus 1, fall out for each tooth that hits the ground as skeleton appears. And he says skeletons are hostile to everyone except you, and they fight until destroyed. What? So doesn't that mean when you're level 20 and you're casting a spell, the chance of you failing this DC is next to none? Am I missing something here? Am I missing something here? Huh. When you reduce one or more creatures to 0 hit points or score a critical hit with a spell attack, the chaos within you manifests in a random way. To determine the spell effect, roll a d6 and consult the chaos manifestation below. I love all this. I don't understand this. Is this so many times a day? This is a... I'm missing something here, boys and girls. I don't quite get this. I'm with you, Nessie. This isn't mathing for me. You must roll a d20 against your volatile DC, save DC. On failure, the spell effects happen. The spell becomes volatile, and you roll on the volatile spell effect table to determine any additional effects. So you don't want them to happen. So they're saying the more powerful you are, the harder it is to fail the save. And also, higher level spells? Oh, it's minus your sorcerer level plus the spell. Okay. Okay. Your level is the barometer. So if you're level 3, it's a 20. So 19, 17, 20, 19, 17, 18, 17. So 17. And then the level of the spell gets added to it. That's how it works. So if you're 20th level and you cast a 10th circle spell, it's a DC 10. It's a minus and then a plus. That's why we're missing it. I think this should be bolded. I missed that a couple times. Way more sense. Still fucking cool, though. I fucking love that. And then Draconic. Of course, I have Draconic Heritage. Anyway. Warlock, Kobold, your Skittlebald. Warlock is back. It's a Skull and Fire. You know, that's what I would have guessed, too. That is dope. That is really cool art again. So, what are your Warlock? I'm curious to see what your Heroic is. Echoes of Knowledge or Echoes of Power? Yeah, it does make more sense, Nessie. Nessie, are you a 5e player? I never remember what you play. Is that what you play mostly, is 5e? Because this is solid. I don't think I would ever go back to regular 5e. This. This is cool. So that's that. That's pretty cool that you get this. I like their new Warlock is really good, by the way. Very different than the traditional Warlock. They really kind of powered it up, in my eyes. I love the boon, though. I think the heroic boon's really cool. I think that's really kind of nice for them. They did a good job. So what are the two subclasses? Fiend, which is what this is, and Reaper. Man, I wish they would have had art for the Reaper. This excites me. Once in the last 5 years, I played D&D and Pathfinder. What am I picking? You've only played once in the last 5 years? Nessie, you gotta play more. Gotta get some more time in. Dwarven Wizard. I know a lot about the Wizard. Played this a lot in playtesting. Really cool. The Battle Mage is super cool. They get shields while they're casting. The Cantrip Adept is my favorite. They can like accelerate their casting. I think it's fucking awesome. So this is big here. So let's talk about this for a second. So Lineage and Heritage is the replacement for Race, and they give you more options to make sure that the core concept of your dwarf, your elf, or whatever it is you build is more rounded and means more in the game as you're building your characters. I think that this is by far the best improvement to the game. It's also my favorite change from Pathfinder 2. So like I really enjoy that they brought this into TOV. So these are your lineages. You have a ton of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want to talk about how it functions. I think that's probably the most important part here today is how these two things function. So lineages, I do wish at the beginning there was a list of all the lineages. I think that's missing. I think that's the number one thing I would like here. So you can be like, what are all my lineages to choose from? For example, you can choose the Beastkin lineage. When you pick the Beastkin lineage, it tells you your age, your size, your speed, your animal instincts, proficiency in either perception or survival skill. So it lets you flex. Natural weapons, claws, horns, hooves, fangs, whatever it is, because you're a beast, right? Awesome art, by the way. This is stellar. And then you get natural adaptation. You can be avian, agile, aquatic, or sturdy. Is this a sturdy version or is this the dwarf? That's the dwarf. So it's pretty cool. If you have leathery, feathery gossamer wings, you have fly speed equal to your walk speed. You can't fly while wearing medium or heavy armor. I like flying in my 5e games. I don't, just in tabletop in general, as a GM, flight doesn't break my mechanic for how things work. I do think it works really well. And you just have to be creative. Like if you have flyers in your party, just have flyers common now with your monsters. You have to reset your GMing style. But I will say, they did do something that makes me very happy as a GM. When you are playing tabletop RPGs, light is super, super important in a game, light and dark. And I mean like actual light and actual darkness, right? And I don't like that 5e gave everyone low light and dark vision, so much so that the human is traveling with all these people with low light and dark vision, and they have to have a torch. I hate it. So what they did is they took it away for most of the Heritage and Lineage, and I'm fine with it. Because I think that light and dark is a mechanic that should be in a game, that is something you should be fighting against as an adventurer. I think Shadow Dark taught that to me really well, along with, honestly, a Dragonbane. Pathfinder did it as well, but everything has dark vision as this line of sight, and the light and dark mechanic has to be good. So I was told I have to look at how light and dark works in this game. That is something we will be doing during this. So back to the regular scheduled Lineage and Heritage. I just had to get that out of my system. So you can pick all these different ones: agile, aquatic, sturdy, whatever you want. You get a bunch of cool stuff out of those, right? Pretty sweet. I dig this. I think this is a great idea. Then you got dwarf, and then you have elf, human, great art. That tree If that's fucking drawn, that tree is fucking amazing. Hey, what's up, Meditated? Yes, it is, and I'm glad they got rid of it. I don't think it's needed, man. I'm super happy that it's gone. None of these so far that I've seen have it. Heightened senses, you have a better bonus to your perceptions. It says you can see through light obscured areas, normally areas of dim light as if they were bright light. Super clean, but not dark vision. I don't think Dwarf had dark vision. It does. Okay, so Dwarf has dark vision. Humans don't, obviously. Do Kobolds have it? There's dark vision everywhere, right? They didn't get rid of shit. I guess Orcs don't have it. No dark vision here. Looks like mine-based people. People who are in mines have it. Okay, so that's different. This is a new race. Sidron. Never heard of these mystical beings. That's kind of cool. No dark vision. Nope. 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 Okay, so only those two do. Small folk are their new halflings, essentially. Love the art for these. They're super cool. Again, no dark vision. And then we get into heritage. So let's just say, let's scroll back up. Let's just say we pick something. Let's do something we know. Let's do, yeah, I agree. Only those two do. Let's say we do a dwarf. We'll do a dwarf. I pick a dwarf. I got a speed of 30, which was 20. Thank you for changing that, Cobalt Press. I appreciate it. I don't think dwarves should be slower. It makes no sense. Make them the same speed as everybody else. Smart move. So they have it. They have dwarven toughness and they have resilience. So let's scroll down. Now we pick where they're from. So let's say we're making a warlock, dwarf, and then we're gonna pick. We know we're gonna go for fiend. And we're gonna pick their lineage or heritage. Heritage is like, I'll just read it. I guess that makes more sense than me trying to explain it. Heritage represents the upbringing and culture of a character. It's what your family, community, or other formative authority figures taught you. So think of it like being how you grew up, okay? Sample heritages includes Cosmopolitan for city dwellers, Grove for forest denizens, and Stone for undermountain folk. Heroic characters sometimes come from an unexpected origins. Your character might have been raised among typical community of their lineage or from a totally different one. So let's do something different than a dwarf, right? So we scroll down into here. Here's the languages, which I like that they put here. I still wish they had a table up top for everything. I wish all the lineages and all the heritages were in a table at the very beginning of this chapter. So if we go down, there's Anointed. There is Cloud. Cloud is wild, by the way. I remember this. Cosmopolitan. My favorite is Cottage. The Cottage heritage is dope. This is my favorite. Basically, the characters from the heritage are raised with skills of practicality of an organized, integrated agricultural community. Listen to these powers. Comforts of home. Part of a long rest, you can cook a meal, tell stories, perform some other activity that comforts your allies, make them feel better. Choose a number of creatures who participated in the long rest equal to your proficiency bonus. I like proficiency bonus as a measure of times per day. I like that. I think 5e should have used that more. And they gain temporary hit points equal to twice your proficiency bonus. Temporary hit points are expended until you complete your next long rest. So they're like, they cook a meal and everybody gets some extra temporary hit points. Such a cool concept. Love it. Such a nice little succinct ability. Homesteader, proficiency and stuff. Pretty cool. Diaspora Heritage, another great art. God, this art is so good. Fire Forged, you're good at crafting things if you want to be a crafter. Nomadic Heritage, you're good at travel. You're resilient. Salvager Heritage, Slayer Heritage, and Stone Heritage. So now you can make a dwarf and have the Stone Heritage, right? But you could also pick up Nomadic and say you're a traveler. Yeah, she just left for work. She was here earlier. I started the stream at 3 instead of 2:30, but it didn't start, so I had to reboot things, and now we're good. There was an update to OBS. So I like a lot of this. I think this is a great way, and I can see a really cool book coming out. So like, let's just say you want to make a heritage book, right? And you are making a setting. Like this is what I would do and may do. If I'm making a setting, and let's say I'm doing one for one of my set pieces, I would put a gazetteer out, like a setting book that would have heritages that make sense for different sections of my world, maybe cities, maybe a region. It could be from mountains to city-states to baronies, whatever it is you're doing. I would put out heritage for those to help tie people into the game. So all these other ones could be a part of it, but then I would make custom ones to tie it in. And then you could do the same thing, because now you're developing basically your lineage and heritages separately. I think this is a great way to put together new information to get your players on the same page as you when you're running a set campaign. I do believe, and I agree with what the Cypher guys were saying and Instructo Boy was saying and a few others, I think that long form campaigns are dwindling. They're the rarity. They're the unicorn now. I don't think you see 70 session campaigns much anymore. There are usually 3, 6, 9, maybe 12. More like a TV series. And maybe you re-up. I know that when I'm running my stream games, I tell the group we're doing somewhere between 11 and 13 episodes. At the end of the season, if we like how it goes, we'll opt for a second season. I will never do more than 3 seasons of a show. Because, for example, ETHUANTIA is going to go into its second season next month for this new campaign, for campaign 2. But I'll never do more than 3. I feel that it's too much, and honestly, I like 2. That gives me 20-something episodes to get everybody in, tell a story with these players, and move on. While I know players love to see the growth of their characters, I just don't think that long-form gaming works for most people. Unless you're lucky and you have a home group or something like that where everybody can sit around the table and you've been playing the same game for years. That's cool. I just know that I've had a hard time keeping that going even when I had a consistent group. Yeah, 13 episodes, yeah. So that's my 2 cents on it. With that said, I think that this helps people get into the setting you're going to do quicker. If you say, hey, everybody, we're going to be from like Wildlands, Nomad, that kind of thing, try to pick stuff within there. And then we get into the backgrounds. And I said at the start of this, the backgrounds in 5e, I feel are fucking weak. I think the 5e backgrounds suck. And I want to talk about, let me pull this up. The D&D 5e character sheet. We need to talk about this real quick. So this is the D&D 5e character sheet. It is such a fucking waste of a character sheet. Because the idea of bonds, ideals, and flaws, let me find the original. Is this the original? Yeah, it's this thing here. Bonds, ideals, and flaws take 1/3 of the front of the character sheet, but they do only one thing in the game. Mechanically. Yes, they're to help you run your character and really feel like you're a part of the character you've built, but really, every time you use it, you're supposed to be able to use those, and that gives you a chance to get inspiration. That is such a weak mechanic for a role-playing game. I think that is the worst. It takes up so much real estate on the character sheet without any mechanical aptitude in a game that is mechanical and semi-simulationist game. I wish it did more. With that said, the backgrounds in this are pretty solid. They teach you how to make custom ones. They do a lot of the same things. They give you a skill proficiency and a tool proficiency. That's normal. But then they give you a talent. Talents are kind of like feats in this game. And talents are broken down into different kinds, which you'll see here. But their elements of the background are to make you feel like your character is important. And it sometimes even brings, actually no, always brings the adventuring motivation. So background helps define your character's personal history before becoming an adventurer. So we have the ancestry, the lineage is the community we grew up in, and the background's kind of like what we were doing before we became an adventurer. the background has these talents that you get. So let's look at artist. You have skill proficiency, additional proficiency, and equipment. Choose two from acrobatics, insight, performance, or persuasion. And then choose choose one additional language, and then you get a musical instrument or tool you're proficient with, a steel mirror, a set of fine clothes, an ink pen and bottle of ink, and a coin purse with 4 extra gold. But then you get a talent. And it says you have developed the skills and talents required to delight the masses and capture imaginations of even nobility. Choose a talent from this list representing your experience: quick, scrutinous, or trade skills. Then you can go into the talents and pick those up. So instead of getting this half-ass background feat, sometimes you actually get something to help round out your character. And then you get an adventuring motivation. Very clean, very simple. I dig this. So let's go through what we have here for options. We have artist. I think all the ones from 5e are going to be in here, maybe some extras. Artist, courtier, criminal. I love the secret part. Secrets for the criminal. Adventuring motivation for those. A homesteader, a maker, which is like a crafter, an outcast, a rustic, a scholar, a soldier. I still think this is one of my favorite pieces as well with all the bookmarks. It's like Bubbles the gnome, if anyone knows Trailer Park Boys. Soldier. And then amazing art again. Jesus Christ. So cool. So that's your backgrounds. And then you get into talents. Talents are really cool. Talents are like feats plus is how I would say. They feel a little bit more akin to Pathfinder's feats, which just mean choose. And talent's like a feat. So when looking at talents, you got magical talents. There's broad categories, right? So magical talents, for example, like combat casting. We all know combat casting. We've taken that in games before. And combat casting is one of those things you would take when you have to fight and cast spells, or be in combat and cast spells. Here's what it looks like in TOV. So, experience on the battlefield has given you superior focus to cast your spells. You gain these benefits. When you make a con save to maintain concentration on a spell, treat any d20 roll 7 or less as though you rolled an 8. Basically, stopping those really poor roll failures. When a creature provokes attack opportunity from you, you can choose your reaction to cast a cantrip instead of making a melee attack, which is awesome. That means you can use Firebolt and basic cantrip spells as a reaction as a caster. That feels like a caster. I dig that. And then you can use Shield or a weapon you wield as a spellcasting focus. As normal, you can use the same hand or hands holding the focus to perform somatic components. So you could use a dagger if you know how to use a dagger. For some reason, you have an axe. You can use the axe as part of your ritual of casting that somatic component. That is a great combat casting, way superior to what you were finding in 5e. So that's an example of one. So you got magic talents. After magic talents, you have martial talents. There's some awesome martial talents in here. After that, you have technical talents. For example, luck is a new thing in this game. I need to look and see how luck works now. We haven't seen that yet. But you get luck points, and those luck points allow you to do rerolls and up DCs and all this other stuff. This is bottomless luck. Your skill is only outmatched by your infectious lucky streak. You gain the following benefits. When you roll a 20 on a d20 roll, one ally of your choice you can see or hear gains a luck point. When you make a die roll to reset your luck roll, or luck total, roll 2 dice and keep the result. So if you don't spend your luck in TOV, it goes away. Basically, if you get too much luck and it caps and it hits that threshold of whatever the cap is, you have to roll a die and reset your luck because you weren't using it. It's kind of like punishing you from just in a good way. It's teaching you to not, shouldn't say punish. It is educating you to not sit on your luck. It is teaching you to use your luck, which is pretty cool. And then when you spend luck to reroll d20, roll 2 dice and keep the result you prefer. Normally it's just 1 d20 when you spend luck. I think it costs 3 luck points in beta. We'll see what it costs now. So anyway, that's one of the technical talents. Technical talents are like technical mechanical stuff. Pretty cool. Hard targets, also really cool. Noxious Apothecary, also really cool. Polygot's great. So those are the classifications for the things that you can get. So when you get your backgrounds, you get to pick from some of those. And then we have equipment and magical items. Magical items have cost again. They brought it back, so that's awesome. They talk about selling. And they talked about this today during their 1-hour talk over TOV release for CobaltCon, because CobaltCon's today. And Celeste talked about how she was a fan of the old, I think it was Arms and Equipment Guide, which I have in the basement. I'm a huge fan of the Arms and Equipment Guide. And the gentleman who works on there as well, Jeff, he was one of the people who helped create that, or might have been the main person for it. What you're going to notice is we have art in here for gear. Finally, art for gear, everybody. Because we don't get enough of that. You don't know what shit looks like. And in this one, they're like, hey, you want to know what gear is? Let us show you what the gear looks like. I think this is a great thing that they did. I think that it is missing from a lot of books. When I opened Mork Borg and it had like the body with all the weapons in it, I got so excited because gear is such an important part of heroic fantasy. So, your armors. Look at this. So cool they did all the armors. We scroll past. I don't want to scroll past weapons. Weapon options are so cool. They are abilities that your weapons have that a lot of people don't. I don't think they noticed it because they did early beta, but now you can see a lot more of them. And there's some new ones that got added in here. But basically, weapon options. This section offers options for using weapons in ways other than dealing damage. Weapon option column on the weapons table show weapons can be used to perform which weapon options. Weapon option saves, basically it's a DC, it's 8. 8 is always the base in 5e based games. So 8 plus your proficiency bonus, and then plus the attacker's strength or dexterity modifier, attacker's choice. And then that becomes a save for these abilities. So you get things like bash. On hit, the target has disadvantage on the next roll. You can disarm people. Again, I want to point out, everybody, weapons, 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 weapons. The book gave you art for all of them. Never mess up Flail and Morningstar again, boys and girls. Never mess those up because you got art for them, which I think is cool. I think that was a very needed thing for them to do. You have your hamstring, your pinning shot. This is for bows. Just so you know, if you ever wanted to shoot a bow and you wanted that bow to pin somebody to something, that's what that ability is. And I think daggers have it as well, which is super cool. So on success, the target can free themselves if they make the save. Otherwise, they're pinned in place. Pinned in place. Super cool. Ricochet shot, yes. Daredevil style. Trip. And I could see us getting new weapon options from books as well. Expect with Black Flag, other people to be making cool weapon stuff. But again, all the weapons. Super awesome to have this. I love this crossbow art, by the way. And then there's weapon properties for ammunition, gear, finesse, hardy. So these are the properties of weapons. They also have equipment packs for quick buy. I just think it makes you excited. Nothing was worse to me than flipping through a old D&D book and having no art for what it was. And when the old blue 2nd edition Arms and Equipment book came out, and you could see gnomish armor, if anyone remembers the Tinker Gnome armor, I talk about it in a lot of my games, but it has all the pockets and accoutrement spaces to put all the tools for Tinker Gnome. That art made me want to have that armor, even though that armor, frankly, wasn't as good as other things. But once you had all your tools in it, it got like an extra +1 armor. I thought that was really cool. And that art's what sold me. I'm glad they put art in here for all the weapons and armor. So you can see all your normal gear, objects and structures, how to break them. Again, 387 pages. We're not even all the way through. Tools and tool descriptions and how tools work. Again, art for your tools. They also have task levels in here to give you sample ideas of how to use artisan tools to do stuff. This is important. I think this was missing from 5e personally. I think that you didn't know as a new GM what was acceptable. But for the player side of things, this allows the players to know before they roll, can I do this? Can you get 5 daggers, small weapons, and have big weapons carry? I'm not sure what you're asking me there. What do you mean by that, Star Drew? Like hot swap weapons? I'm not sure what you're asking. Talking about weight? Because weapons, if I scroll back up, weapons are weight-based, so it's still based on weight because it's 5e. They didn't go with a bulk system. Scroll back down to where we were. I love that they have all these art. Ah, yes, look at that. This is right here. This is me. Give me that cooking kit. Oh, are you talking about the old gnome armor? The gnomish armor was just made to carry tools and trinkets and shit. It's a second edition piece. I don't know if they've ever brought gnomish armor, Tinker Gnome armor back. It's not in this. It's from second edition. This is super cool that they did this. I have one of these in my car. I'm a big fan of roll-ups. Not only do I have a roll-up in my car, by the way, I have a roll-up for my drawing equipment. No one's ever seen this before. My MCDM. It's Lockby, I believe. I think it's here. Yeah, Lockby. Awesome. If you don't own one, I'm a big fan of roll-ups. Totally. We're talking about a totally separate thing right now, but I am fine with that. So this is what it does. For those who are not familiar, this company makes great stuff. There is a mesh pocket on this side that unzips. And then behind back here, there is a place with slots. I love this. It's wax canvas, so it just smells good. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. Big fan. I think that these art pieces make this for me personally, but you know, we'll see what else we got in here. So far, this is a very cleaned up 5e. This experience of flipping through TOV reminds me of Paizo saving 3.5. That's the feeling I get scrolling through TOV. That's my like hot take on this. I feel like 5e fans are getting saved by TOV without changing the game they love, just bringing it up to the next level. At least that's how I feel. So, mounts are in here. Gear expenses for mounts. Services, huge thing in the game. Say these are some blank pages here. Not a lot of art here. Elements of a vehicle. I do like vehicles. I think vehicles are handled poorly in 5e. Yeah. Oh, nice. I love roll-ups. I'm a big fan. Vehicle movement. I will say that their stat blocks for monsters and gear are really cleaned up and smaller. And Cobalt Press is known for making amazing monster books. So what do we have for vehicles? Land skimmer, wagon, galley, keelboat armed, rowboat. Pretty cool, clean, sample options. Then we get into magical items. This is some He-Man looking shit right here, boys and girls. Tell me that ain't some He-Man armor. Elements of a magical item. So these are back, right? They put them in the core book because there's only 2 books, remember. Rarity, price, equipped magical items, paired items, activating them, command words, all the normal stuff we're used to. I'm curious if anything really changed in this. Nothing's jumping out at me. Identifying them, this is important. Oh, you get it when you identify charges? Is identifying magical items in here? Yep, right here. I want to see how long it takes. Casting Identify spell. Okay, so they went with the spell is the quickest and easiest way. Okay. All right. Says an adventurer can use some properties of a magical item without identifying first. Using a magical item might reveal hints to the item's nature. For example, a PC wearing boots of elven kind is likely to notice that they're quiet wood. They make no noise. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I like it. I like when magical items are found out through use. I'm a big fan of that. So here's your circles. Price per spell is a spell circle, cost, rarity, equivalent consumable. One nice consumable price for spell and items. And then right here, enchant a magical item priced by magical bonus. They were very proud of putting cost back on magical items, and I'll be honest, I think that was a smart decision. Nothing feels worse than not being able to have that. This was a choice to put that above it. Weird. Yeah. Magical item descriptions, real clean. Kill wash apparatus. Levers on the apparatus. They don't call it kill wash anymore because that was somebody else's name. Can't do that. Cool art though. I'm not going to go through every magical item. I like the art over top of the boxes. I think it breaks up the flow a little bit, which is kind of a nice break. Why is Giant Badger doesn't fit? Yeah, that was a choice. I love that they have some art for stuff in here. These boots are cool looking, man. And then, so basically, if you break down what these are, it's the name, what type of item, is it common or not, the cost to buy it, required attunement. I like attunement. I think it should be played with more. Jay from Storm Bunny Studios has done a lot with attunement in the 07, which is his Bloodlines of Black Magic system. I think attunement could be taken further to do some cool shit. I've seen some of this art in books before. Maybe some, I don't know if any of this is reused, if it's all new. Maybe I'm just thinking of stuff that I've seen before. There's some cool stuff in here. Is there a glue arrow or stun arrow? Oh, I don't know. I'm past arrows. Maybe it would be under the ammo types. Hold on here. I don't know if it's gonna be magical. It might be a basic one. Arrow of slaying, arrow of shield catching, arrow catching shield. I'm sorry. I don't see anything in here. There might be something later. There might be something in gear, but you gotta remember any 5e item or equivalent can be used in this game, so you don't have to worry about all of your 5e stuff being worthless. So okay, so we have a bunch of cool magical items in here. I think this is cool that they added all these in here. Javelin of Lightning looks dope. So this is the tomes for doing stuff. Cool. Now, what is this? What is he doing? Cobalt wearing a quilted shirt and leggings, has a feather cap atop his head. Back pouring a potion. Oh, okay, just showing him drinking. All right. Magical items are something you sit and read through. I don't really have a reason to do that. I'm curious if they implemented any of their extra rules in here, like artifacts. Ooh, that's cool looking. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Fabled. This is what I was looking for. Fable item to grow in power along with their owner. This section lists some fabled magical items. So we first saw these in some of the Book of Blades. Basically Book of Blades, Book of Magical Items, Book of whatever. There's a whole bunch of that series. And one of them had some really cool fabled magical items in them. I feel like they were called something else, but still, cool to have it. So the way they work is they increase in power as you level. And they get different things. And I always love magical items that grow with a character. I feel like when I'm a player, I never want to get rid of that item that I started with that means something to me. And when you can get stuff like this and they grow in power, that's such a great feeling to a player. I know to me it was. I think for most players it is. Instead of the Diablo grind where it's like, next level, new item, next level, new item. That was the problem I had with Starfinder. I love this. I wonder if they have a table in here to build your own. That would have been great. So this is just a taste. We're obviously going to see more of this. And then playing the game, making checks, luck. This is what we're looking for, everybody. Luck. So when TOV came out, Luck and Doom came out, and the concept was a way to replace inspiration with luck, but also to give the GM something, which was Doom. I don't know if we'll get into that today, but we'll definitely get into luck a little bit here. It used to be you could earn X amount of them, and you could use them for like re-rolls and stuff like that. So I am curious to see what it is now that the book is out, because I know there were some issues where they're trying to balance. So let's see how they do this. Every PC has a special source called luck. You use luck to influence the result of any check. When you create your character, you start with 0 luck. You gain luck in the following ways. My problem when this was out is that Wizards barely gained luck, and that sucked. I'm hoping they fix that. So let's see what we got here. Once per turn, when you fail to hit with an attack roll or fail a save, you gain a luck. So on failure, it's like fail forward. GM can reward a luck as a reward for a clever idea, excellent role-playing, or pursuing on an interesting rather than optimal choice. And then it's the GM can award any amount of luck to one or more PCs surviving difficult encounters. I was really hoping for a wizard one. The reason is martial characters are going to roll to hit a lot. And you also roll and you fail saves. Wizards are never going to get luck because they don't do melee attacks that often. And the only way a wizard's going to gain luck here is if a spell has a roll to hit. So like some cantrips and stuff like that, I feel like the wizard should have got it when a monster successfully made a save versus one of their spells. I feel like a wizard should get luck. That was my solution to the problem. And a house rule that if I run this, 100% would be a part of it. No, Allie, it wasn't streaming for some reason. I fixed it. So I really feel like a wizard deserves something for this. I feel like that's a misstep. Let me write this down, actually. Actually, I'll put, hold on here. I'm gonna go over to my notes. So changes. I'll do a house rules. We'll do luck. I feel casters should gain luck when a target makes a successful save. I think this is important. No. Yeah, right. But still, you know what? Yeah, didn't die from it, meditated. Yeah, didn't die from it. But they definitely needed to give something for them. I think they missed a mark a little bit there for me. You can have a maximum of 5 luck. If you already have 5 luck and gain more luck, you must immediately roll a d4 and reset your luck. I love that. It teaches players to use their luck. Here's how we can spend it. Oops. Here's how we can spend it. This is important too. You spend... Oops. Come on. Highlight it. Why is this being such a bitch? We'll do that. You spend luck to add 1-for-1 bonus. So if you have 5, you could cast 5 in, check 5 in for +5. So if you have +4 luck, you roll 13 on the die, you spend 2 luck, you can make it 2 higher. Easy. Alternatively, immediately after you've made a check, attack, ability save, you spend 3 luck to re-roll a d20. It doesn't add advantage, you re-roll. So that makes that one talent we saw really cool because you roll 2 d20 and take the highest. It might. I mean, Nessie, we're not through it. Maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe it does. Or like optional rules. Luck can't stop a critical miss or create a critical hit. I like that. By adding the 20, so basically it doesn't do anything. Note that luck gained from failed attack or save can't then be used to reroll. So you can't fail and then reroll. Makes sense. Which ability modifier? Okay, these are breakdown for ability scores. Smart table. This should be on a GM screen. This should be on a GM screen over half the crap that they put on GM screens. 3 types of checks: attack, roll, save. We're all used to this. This is normal, contested, working together. This is nice. Group checks. I like all this stuff. This is all nice added stuff. Advantage and disadvantage. Sometimes special circumstances. I will say I hope they added more of the +1, -1, +2, -2 versus always giving out advantage and disadvantage. I think that was also a bad choice in 5e, not in this. When everything was advantage and disadvantage, you got to a point past like level 7 where just shit didn't matter anymore. Skills. Okay. No new skills, I don't think. They break them down pretty well. Tell you the different things you can do. No table there. The skill is usually paired with a specific ability. That's why certain abilities appear in parentheses after each skill. For example, athletics is most commonly used as strength. This is athletics. However, so they do talk about you can change the stat, which I think is important. I think GMs don't do that enough. Athletics or strength, but there may be a time where it's con. Like holding something aloft over your head for a long time frame might be a constitution. I like that. Like swimming long term might be a con check instead, which that's what they said right there, which is cool. All your normal things, more art. Tracking time, minutes, hours, days. For those of you who have not had a chance to play a game with me, I'm a big fan of downtime and pacing. And I like there to be mechanics for the players to be able to pick some of that pacing as well. Like to be able to ask the GM, like, hey, can we do some downtime so we can accomplish some stuff? Game mechanics are, as I've said many times, a love language between yourself and the players. And having it built into the game lets the players start to think in new ways to use their time in game. I think that's important. And I think that having a section here about time tracking not only teaches the GM, but teaches the players as well, which is needed and I think missed a lot of times. Talking about luck again, should you limit it to 1 per spell? Since multiple enemies, you can only get 1 luck per round. That's how luck works. Oh, you know what? I say that. That's how it used to be. Because otherwise a monk could get them all in 1. Let me see here. Hold on. Let's scroll back up to luck. That's a very good question. Once per turn. So you can only do it once per turn. Good question. I thought I read that, but yes, it is the same. So I like that they have time tracking in here. I think that's great. Downtime activities. Oh, they're hitting on downtime. I hope they cleaned it up. Movement, speed, climbing, flying, swimming, all that kind of stuff. Calendars and setting. I love this. I love that this is here. It doesn't assume a specific setting, but I think calendars make a big difference. I'm a big fan. In my notes, I plan my games and run them, and I have an out of game time, so I know when we played the game. But in game, I always put a calendar date. And in the front of every single one of my game books, I have the months in there for that game setting, because I feel like it helps you do pacing, and it also really helps you explain to players passage of time. So I like that they talk about that in here. I love this art. Trying to escape. It looks like, is this a rogue nun? What is this? Female adventurer in leather armor and collar on her head. I was hoping that was an adventurer nun. Difficult terrain, forced movement, really clean. What's this? Traveling pace. They talk about traveling pace in this. That's smart. Forced march, mounts and vehicles. And then right here, this is a table that should be on every GM screen for Tales of Valiant. I think this is missing from a lot of games when they don't put the travel travel pace in for games. Interacting with creatures, role-playing, interacting with items. Pretty cool. Easy. Typical stuff. This is all typical stuff. Again, great work. Great art. This book crushes the art. Crushes it. It really, really does. What else we got here? Planes of Existence. Okay, so now we're getting into Tales of the Valiant. Their setting is known as the Labyrinth. It is the space that connects all spaces. And Black Flag uses just the rules. So it's like the stripped down SRD version for Tales of the Valiant. So I think here we're going to get into a little bit of kind of like Planes of Existence stuff. But this is what I was told to read. I was told that vision and senses and light are very different in this game. Like I said before, they took away a lot of dark vision. So let's look over this. I think this might be one of the sections we actually read. So senses. We'll start here, everybody. Fundamental adventuring tasks: noticing danger, finding hidden objects, hitting an enemy, targeting a spell. Rely heavily on a character's ability to perceive the world around them. Vision and obscured areas. I hope this is good. Creatures primarily perceive the world by sight. This is called vision. Creatures usually have secondary senses, hearing, smell, touch, that allow them to interact with the environment. But vision is considered the standard primary sense. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Darkness and other effects that obscure vision can prove significant hindrance. Areas of darkness or other effects that interfere with vision are labeled either lightly or heavily obscured. So we got lightly obscured and heavily obscured. Nothing really different to me so far. Lightly obscured area, dim light, patchy fog, moderate foliage. Creatures have disadvantage on wisdom perception checks. Okay, makes sense. We'll go back to this light in a second. Heavily obscured areas, such as darkness, opaque fog, dense fog. Creatures effectively suffer from the blindness condition. So they're blinded. Is this hyperlinked? It's not hyperlinked. I want that hyperlinked. That's just me. Okay. Creatures can't see and automatically fail any ability check that requires sight. Okay. So let's go up to light. They said they made this easy. The presence of absence of light in an environment is a common factor in determining whether an area is lightly or heavily obscured. The amount of light in any given area is measured in one of 5 categories: sunlight, bright light, dim light, darkness, magical light. So you got 5. A sliding scale. Adjust your gamma until the thing on the left-hand side is barely visible. So we've got 5 degrees of light. Sunlight lets most creatures see normally. It also has special effects on certain creatures with the sunlight sensitivity. Bright light lets most creatures see normally, even in gloom or gloomy days. Provide bright light, as do torches, lanterns, fire, and light sources within a short radius. Dim light, also called shadows, creates a lightly obscured area, so you got the disadvantage. Any area of dim light is usually a boundary between a source of bright light, such as a torch, and surrounding darkness. The soft light of twilight and dawn also counts as dim light, and a brilliant full moon might bathe the land in dim light. Okay, clean. Clean. Darkness creates a heavily obscured area. Characters face darkness outdoors at night, even most moonlight nights, or within the confines of an unlit dungeon. And then magical darkness heavily obscures an area, which means you're blinded. Okay, that doesn't... I guess they just really defined it well. It just seems clean. So dark vision, a creature with dark vision can see in darkness, which is this one. But they can't see through magical darkness. That's not new. Within the dark vision range, a creature can see in dim light as if it were bright light. So basically, we just have a shifting scale. Dark vision means you can see in dark light and darkness. And then dim light gets shifted as if it was bright light. Am I reading that right? Yeah. It's just a scale shift. This would be cool at the bottom of the character's page. It'd be a nice little piece underneath. I think that would be smart. Okay, that doesn't seem that different to me. And if torches are 30, I mean, torches just provide bright light. I guess taking dark vision away helps the most, though. Planes of existence. I won't get into this too much. Life and death. Cool. Healing. Cool. Again, great artwork. I haven't seen a single piece of bad art yet. Not one. Encounter gameplay. I can't argue about initiative. They had to keep it. Initiative is just part of the game. Like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like I can't do anything about it. I don't like D&D initiative. I'm not a big fan of it. And there's so many conversations about handling initiative, how to do it, what to do, so on and so forth. I'm not a big fan of 5e traditional initiative, but because this is supposed to run parallel, I don't think they could have changed this that much. Track food and water? Huh. Okay. Rounds and turns. Some Assassin's Creed dwarf action here. Exploration, dungeons. This is all normal. None of this is out of context. This is great. The funnel for pouring the acid in to melt the lock off. I like that. I think that's really cool. Attitude's the same. Combat steps are the same. Tournament surprise. Establish positions. Roll initiative. Take turns. Begin the round. Is surprise different? That's a very good question. Did anyone see surprise when I was scrolling? I did not. Is it here? I guess in the appendix. I guess we'll have to look up surprise there. I like this. This is a nice little chart for everybody to understand heights and weights and stuff like that. Or heights and sizing. I love this. This is a 2-page spread, by the way, of like a gargantuan creature versus a huge. I think that's really cool. And it goes all the way across to this one. Smart. Smart use. Movement and combat. Breaking up your move. Moving between attacks. You can move between them. That's cool. I am curious about attacks opportunity. If that's in here. I didn't look at it. Did anyone notice attack opportunity? Is that something that gets fucked up a lot in games? Going to need 200 to 500 torchlights to throw in. I mean, I guess if we're playing Deep Rock Galactic. Attacks opportunity. Important. This is important. This is something that I feel gets messed up a lot. Highlight it. And misunderstood, so hopefully they cleaned it. Yeah, I'll look it up in the appendix in the end. Fight everyone constantly watching. Okay, opportunity attacks. What do we got here? Creature PC can make opportunity attack when a hostile creature... Oh, man, got something in my eye. Hostile creature, it can see moves out of its reach. See reach under melee attacks in this chapter. To make opportunity attack, you have to use your reaction. Okay. Magic attacks, okay. I mean, that's pretty standard. Nothing really changed there to me. Attack step by step. Another great piece of art. Ranges. I wonder how they do square counting. I mean, I don't give a shit, but someone will. Like if you count every other, if it's 5, 10, 15, or if it's 5, you know what I mean? Would attack opportunity be for heavy creature? I don't understand what you're asking. Anyone can do attack opportunity in this game. It's based on moving in and out of thresholds. Ah, yeah, every creature. Yeah, every creature. There are games where it's not that way. Pathfinder is very specific. It tells you if they get a reaction to do stuff in PF2, but since they're keeping the 5e style, they can't really change it up. It's everything gets them. It really does slow down combat, to be 100% honest with you. I do like that combat caster, though, can use cantrips as attack opportunity. I think that's fucking golden. Misspell melee spells, unarmed spells. Okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome art again. Very cool. Shoving. So here's all your like extra things you can do. Shove. Range attacks, long range, close range. Pretty normal. Here we go. Death and dying. This is important. The PC is reduced to 0 hit points in combat. Follow the rules and the dropping to 0 hit points in the section under life and death in this chapter. Okay, well, we'll get to it then. Downtime activities. I love that this is included. I hope they did a lot with it. How much downtime is available? The PCs select their chosen downtime activity from the options available, pay costs listed for that activity, if any, and spend time required to perform that activity. Once these conditions are met, the GM resolves the activity following the resolution rules listed in the activity's description. The PC has more downtime available than their chosen activity requires. They can continue to pursue the same activity for a long period. Okay, cool. So time, cost. So here's carousing, which Shadow Dark carousing is huge. Following this team to make new friends. Carousing requires a PC to spend money. What does it do? Oh, resolution. After a week of spent carousing, a PC makes a charisma persuasion check or similarly relevant ability check to determine if they made any new contacts or gained any favors. I like that. And then there's a carousing result. That's this here. This is really cool. To me, players should have options when you give a space of time. When I ran the Dragonlance game, I gave big chunks of time for downtime, like seasons past. And I love that this is in it. Mythic Bastion land, you level between seasons and ages. You tier up, so to speak. So I like that they're doing something with it. So you have that. You have crafting options. Crafting is in this game. You have researching. And then they talk about, what about magic items? So this isn't out yet. Game Master's Guide's not out. This is the thing I want. I'm very curious to see how this is. I don't know when the Game Master Guide is due out. That's a really good question. Actually, I'm curious about that. I'm going to put down questions. I'm going to put this in my notes. Questions. When is the DMG due out? All right, back to this. Search for clues. This is nice. I love investigative stuff. For those who have watched all my streams, you know I'm a big fan of investigation. So is Kelly. So this is a great feature to have for a downtime action. Looking for clues and using clues. Very cool. They brought it in. So when I was working for Cobalt Press, the whole Book of series, Book of Blades, is my favorite. Book of Arms, everything that they put out in that series. They're very small books, kind of like splat books, if anyone's remember those from back in the day. They had the option for finding trainers, and those trainers allowed you to learn a new skill or to get better at something that normally you couldn't do. They put training in TOV. They brought some of those optional rules, which they always hinted at doing, and now we're seeing some of that put into play. The fact that they put training into this makes me so happy, because I feel like players in general don't have enough spots and spaces to spend gold on. So by adding prices back to magical items, and also adding crafting, training, carousing, that kind of stuff in, you have other ways to spend your hard-earned gold from being an adventurer and a hero in Tales of the Valiant. That's smart play, Cobalt Press, smart play. So here is what is the training. You spend downtime training to learn a new language, proficiency, skill, weapon, tool, armor, or gain a new talent, provided you meet the prereqs. Your GM might offer options of training different as well. To begin training, you need a skilled and willing instructor who speaks your language and can teach you. GM determines how long it'll take to find the instructor. You probably could do like clues or something like that for it. And then determine whether an ability checks are required to convince the instructor to teach you. More, what is it? None or more? Oh, note. Note that carousing downtime activity is an excellent way to find a teacher. That's what I was saying. Carousing to find a teacher. That's cool. Typically, it takes 50 weeks before mastering a new proficiency or talent. So, 50 weeks. That's a long time. That means that your GM would have to be giving you like years off between, because 52 weeks in a year. Huh. Successful resolution checks can dramatically decrease this time. Okay, so maybe there's more. 1 gold a week, so it'd be 50 gold on average. End of each week spent training, a PC rolls a d20 and adds their PB to determine the result of their training shown on the training resolution table. Luck can be spent as a 1-for-1 increase. Oh, okay. That's cool. It's a 50 weeks starting. And then you work backwards from that based on how quickly you learn. So if you are a level, let's say you have a +4 proficiency bonus. Right. Wait, Star Drew. This is cool. Oh yeah, I forgot you're behind. So let's say you're training and you wanted to pick up a new talent. And the talent you wanted to pick up was combat casting, because we talked about that earlier. And you find a wizard from a school, from the Labyrinth, who's going to teach you how to do combat casting. It starts at 50 weeks. It's going to cost you 50 gold if you do all 50 weeks. Every week you make a d20 check and you add your proficiency bonus, and you can use your luck as additional bonuses. I'm assuming skill and stats aren't included because this is just about your raw talent to do this. And then what you do is you go, okay, I roll. And if I get a 15, make 2 weeks of progress towards your goal. So you need a 6 to 10 to make 1 week. A 11 to 15 is 2 weeks. A 16 to 20 is 3 weeks. So every week you do that, and then you chop down how much time. That is awesome. And if you ever get a 21 plus, the total number of remaining weeks needed to meet your goal to a minimum of 1 week. This makes it so that the bigger level you are, the easier it is for you to learn stuff. The earlier in the levels you are, the harder it is to stack these new abilities. I really think that is an elegantly clean 5e solution. That is killer. That is really good. Yeah. That's really... No, it wouldn't knock it down to 45. You add it to your roll. You add it to your roll, Star Druid. So you have DCs. That's chef's kiss. Bravo. Big fan of that. I think that is a killer solution. And I like simple, elegant downtime solutions. They shouldn't be so convoluted. Because you're already like carousing to find the person, finding a trainer. You don't have to do it back to back. You could be like, we have 2 weeks off. Okay, I'm going to go train for 2 weeks. You start a 50-week counter. You put 50 weeks down. And you do your first week. And you finish it. And let's say you want to learn to use a bastard sword as a wizard. Right? Because you want combat casting. You want to be able to use your weapon. Because you're going to do a caster that uses a sword. And you can use it as your implement then. So that means that you can be 50 weeks. I train. Boom. And the first week out, you roll. And you spend all your luck that week. And you put 5 into it because you have 5 luck, and you roll a 15, and that gets you a 20. You chop 3 weeks off. So it says make 3 weeks of progress. So you're like 1, 2, 3, boom, 3 weeks out of my 52 are done. And every time you do that, you're good. So if someone's like, hey, we have a month off, I'm spending 4 weeks, I have 4 rolls, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you tell them, hey, you only have the luck that you have for downtime. That's your luck for all of your downtime. Elegant. Very elegant. I like it a lot. That's cool. Now we get to know what's a spell. What's a spell, everybody? So Magic has changed a lot. I think this is the biggest changes in the game, short of the breakdown of the classes. So Magic in Tales of the Valiant has been cleaned up and changed like so many other aspects of 5e and the TOV. Tales of the Valiant decided that, one, there should only be X sources of magic, which is your arcane, your divine, your weird, your primordial. And then instead of having spell levels, you have spell circles. This is what it looks like. So you have 1st through 9th level spells. By anyone who knows about Sigil and the Spire, these circles out remind me of the bottom of the base of Sigil at the tower. That's just me. You still have spell slots. You still have your magic schools. I'm happy the schools are still there. I was a little disappointed when PF2 took schools away. I'm really excited that they're still in this. And I like that there are the classifications of the different sources of magic, kind of like where your power comes from. Dig that. We still have rituals. Again, awesome art. Elements of a spell. And you have to remember, they put out Deep Magic 1 and 2 in a box set together. I think that's smart. And now that means you have all these other spells you could use as well. What's a spell is a great name for a shop. I agree, Nessie. So you have range, area of effect, cone, and then they break down what those look like in 3D shapes. Top down and 3D, kind of point of origins out. Real smart. Verbal somatic material, hasn't changed. Duration, description, concentration. This is important as a caster. I feel like this is bad in a lot of games. But basically, casting another spell that requires concentration, you immediately lose. You can only have 1 spell of concentration at a time. When you take damage, you got to roll. Combat casting helps a lot of this kind of stuff. Spell saves, spell attack rolls, and then your list of spells. Are these hyperlinked? They're not. I would have killed for these to be hyperlinked. I'd have killed for these to be hyperlinked. They're not. But, you know what I mean. Great art. Great art. I'm curious to see what's in the weird. Primordial's like your druid casting stuff. I'm expecting weird to be like occult spells or occult for those who are Pathfinder people. Bane, Charm, Bestow. Okay. All right, cool. Weird spells. All right. And then your spell descriptions. So, great art. Great. Finally, I just want to point out that was Alter Self. They actually had Alter Self as a fucking... Hold on here. Alter Self had art. Everybody. There you go. There's your Alter Self art, finally. Black Tentacles. Command, I think is what that one is. Different art than the rest of the book. I like it, though. I like the big letter at the top designating the new set of spells. I think that's smart. Ooh. Cool. Great. Clean. I love spell books. I would like nothing more than a bunch of spell books. And you could pick them in their spell book shops like a catalog. Cool. So circle verbiage is level of caster doesn't get confused. Correct. So level of a character level, and spell level confused, because if you were level 3 as a character level, you weren't casting level 3 spells in 5e. So they said, fuck it. If I'm level 3, what circle am I in now? What casting can I do? So it's still the same breakdown of 1 to 10, but they're just called circles now to stop confusion. And you know what that really helps with? Control F searching, because you can look up circle. Anyway, it's smart. Amazing art. This is dope. Very clean. Very clean. Loving it. I'm just clipping through these. Mirror image. Yes. Yes, please. Fucking demon, let's go. Cool. What is that? Reverse gravity. Oh no, rope trick. That was rope trick. Great. It is. New players, it is confusing for. It makes it harder to teach. 100% agree with you. This is dope looking. Look at this. God, dude. Fucking art is amazing. More spell books. Makes me very happy. Web. Ooh, what was that? Word of Recall. Zone of Truth. Awesome. Good variancy. That is dope. The Chaos Wizard is still winning it out for me right now. Chaos Wizard and the Fiend Warlock are both cool. Awesome. Little hag action, boys and girls. A little hag action. Is that Polymorph? Or Phantom Steed, probably, yeah. Cool. We're just clipping through the spells here. Great. Tiny Hut. Okay, Appendix. Oh, they did little kobolds for all of them. What? Aw, that's adorable. You know these are going to be spell cards. You know that's happening. Was blind here? Yep, right here's blinded. I know, Al, I'm with you. Frightened, petrified, paralyzed. These are so cute. Stunned, restrained, surprised. Surprised creature can't move or take actions on its turn. Boom, clean. Thank God. And then here's their gods. Speaking of gods, I didn't set that up on purpose. Different historical pantheons. I'm really looking forward to the GM book. Personally. This is a great, clean 5e experience. I'm going to say it now. If you're going to play 5e and you're going to continue doing it, and you think 5e is for you and you want the options that you've had, you don't want to lose your Kobold Press library, you don't want to lose your 5e library, this is the way to go. And especially after some of these hyperlinked. Yes. It's hyperlinked. Okay, Appendix is hyperlinked. You win. You win D&D. Amazing art. All this art. Okay. All right, let's do a quick recap here. Let's talk about, well, actually, before I talk about that, let's see what we got in the back of this book. I love the complete Kobold guides. If you don't have them, they're fucking awesome. Map tiles, awesome. Great job. Good ads, good stuff. Great. Great. Okay. Let's do a quick overview for this. I feel that Tales of the Valiant on first really high overview aesthetic to this, like what my thoughts are on it. The player's guide is well made. It's well laid out. Actually, let me click this. I think the player's guide's well made, well laid out, clean. The big overarching changes that have been made help push 5e into a more accessible audience, and it still carries the torch of 5e for everybody else. I feel like it is a great iteration and improvement upon something that the 5e audience already loved. with a company that is a little more friendly towards their audience and seems to care, because we all have been through the OGL debacle. And for example, right now on D&D Beyond, they're talking about taking away the ability for you to be able to buy individual feats and whatnot. You now have to buy entire books. So Tales of the Valiant is a great solution to that. I know they're working with Alchemy. I know that they already have a lot of their stuff on Roll20. I know that they work with Foundry because I interviewed those people during the process of Tales of the Valiant coming to the table. So I know that this is something that's going to be around for a while. Cobalt Press isn't going anywhere. They crushed the Kickstarter for that. They've had a couple of Kickstarters since. And this book has better options for classes. I think it's easier to improve upon. I think that they cleaned up the mechanics for combat and spellcasting. I also feel that the way they broke down class, heritage, your lineage, and your background with talents to make your character feel a little more well-rounded is a way better solution to the problem. I think if you're a 5e fan, you're going to be happy with this. I think this is a great transfer and passing of the torch. That's my 2 cents on the player's guide overall. I think this is a great way to jump into it. And as somebody who is a paid GM, I would happily run this over running a 5e product in general. While I have friends that work in that company and for those things, I like what they're doing here. I know their adventures are really good, and I have been very disheartened when my IPs have been redone by Wizards of the Coast. So, Tales of the Valiant's a go for me if you're a 5e person. I think if you want to continue what you're doing, it's a really easy switch over. I may look at running my Magic and Monsters in this setting, or in this system, versus 5e. I was thinking about bringing Pathfinder over to it, but I think this might be a better fit for my high magic setting. This is good. This is really good. Is there anything in this book that anyone wants me to go through that I missed? Is there anything like that you want to see that maybe I didn't hit? Because I kind of, like, it's 5:30. My lady's out of town. To be honest, I kind of want to clip through the Monster Vault here. Mostly I want to look at Doom and see what they did. But I think this is great. Anything anyone wants to see? For those who don't know, we do have our Streamloot subs is going right now while everybody else is looking at things. Jay, you had a question? Can you use a focus instead of a components option? Oh, you mean like no components? I think it depends on the class. Because they can't get rid of 5e. You know what I'm saying? No, I didn't go over death saves. I didn't go over it. But we can, because it's hyperlinked. So here, let's do the first one. You want to know about focus? I know that if you take combat casting as a talent, you can use even a weapon as a focus to cast spells. Are components gone? I don't think so. And I don't think they would be because they want this to still work with 5e. And let's be honest, components, all you're doing is carrying a component pouch in 5e. And unless it has a high gold cost, it's just considered part of that. But no, you still have to have it. But you can use it as part of your somatic components. So if you have combat casting, you can use, like, if you fight with a fucking longsword, you can use your longsword as your component for your somatic casting, which is pretty cool. But I did not look at the death saves. That is a very good question. Let me go back to the player's book. Let me look up death saves. Let's go to the... You know what? We're going to test this. We're going to test the book right now. I'm going to go to the Ds. Let's go to D's here. The D. Where's the appendix at? pass it? Must have passed it already. Pull this up. Index. No components, I think I saw. I don't think so. We'll look, though. I know components are in the game. Let's do Death Burst here. So here's Death. This is your death saves. Let me highlight this. What's up, buddy? Todd, you're gonna be pretty happy with this for a 5e. I think you actually will like this quite a lot. I think it's a really good version of 5e. So death, massive damage can kill you instantly. When damage reduces to 0 hit points, and more damage remains to be taken, keep track of it. Your character is dead when you're at 0 hit points and have failed 3 death saves or taken as much damage as your hit points maximum while at 0 hit points. So if you have 40 hit points, you take 40 afterwards, you're dead. So how do the saves work? When you start your turn with 0 HP, you must make a special save called a death save, same as normal, to determine whether you keep breathing or cling to life. Yeah, that's normal. Roll a d20. If the roll is 10 or higher, you succeed. If it's 9 or lower, you fail. That's normal. Successes and failures don't need to be consecutive. That's normal. 1. We make a death save and roll a 1 on a 20. It counts as 2 failures. If you make a 20, it counts as 2 successes. Damage at 0 HP. If you take any damage while you have 0 HP, you suffer an automatic death save. That's normal. Oh, yeah? That's normal. Nah, it's pretty much the same. They didn't really change it. The difference is you can use luck to bonus those saves. I mean, you can try to stabilize them, DC 15. Yeah, it is what it is. Nothing different there. Todd, this book has no bad art. This book has 0 bad art in 387 pages. Now, this is what I wanted to see. I'm a monster person. So, for those who don't know me, I am a huge fan of monsters, kaiju on down. I love how the myth behind them. I like legends behind them. I like monsters that can talk to you. I like all of that stuff. I feel like Kobold Press is in the high echelon of making monsters. I really do. And I feel like they get it. They just nail monsters as a whole. So I do want to flip through it. We're not going to dive into this, but I want to look up Doom because the GM's guide's not out. So like some of these questions you guys have about the optional rules for death saves, stuff like that, I think we're going to see that in the DM's book. That's my guess. But for now, let's take a look at the monster book because these guys don't fuck around. Building encounters, literally the beginning of the book. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care about balanced encounters. As a GM, I don't care about it. I've never cared about balanced encounters. I feel like that if I balance at least the DCs, any monster is a viable thing to fight. And because of that, I usually don't use encounter building. Now, with that said, I do know how to do it. And I think 5e's version of encounter building was hot garbage. So was 3.5. I'll be honest, the Pathfinder one's not my favorite either. Sly Flourish put out a pretty good one. I've not seen a good encounter builder. With that said, they were saying this was going to be a really good encounter building thing. I don't want to dive into it too deep right now. I think I'll do a separate video on that later and put it up. because I want to read through it and really bring it in and put a process together for how encounter building works so I can teach somebody how to do it. So, with that said, let's take a look at monsters. Go easy at first level. Yeah, I know. You die easy. Already the art is amazing. Todd, front to back, it's good. There's art for the armor and weapons in the player's book. No joke. Yep. But the GM should give them information if they should fight or run. They need to give indicators of how dangerous something is. I do. Determine encounter difficulty. Is Doom in here? Please tell me they didn't cut Doom. I love Doom. I'm wondering if they're just going to put it... I wonder if Doom's only going to be in the GM's book. Some good, like, tips on running stuff here. Boss and Lieutenants. Oh! Little 4th edition thing here. I do too, Todd. Here, actually, I'm going to jump back to it just so you can see it really quick. It's cool. Check this out. Ready? Armor. Weapons. And then even when you get into like kits, they have the kits as well. It's pretty cool. So I'm seeing like easy run encounters. 4th edition, the only good thing I think they did was, and I've said this numerous times, skill challenges, ritual magic, and their monster book was second to none. I see they're bringing in a little bit of that, like bosses and lieutenants and stuff like that. I like that. Horde of minions, I like that. Waves of monsters. I think that's great. Controller, leader, soldier, striker. They brought those back from 4th edition. It's one of the good things from 4th edition. Smart. They made it optional. If you're a GM and you are playing the game and you want to enjoy your GM experience and you want to be able to have fun, trust me when I say an optional rule or two for you is not a maybe I will. It's a must. I really do feel it's a must. I feel like you should have a chance to enjoy the game as much as your players. And I think these optional rule like Doom is that. So you can, at the start of each combat encounter, the GM gains a special resource called Doom based on the CR of the encounter, as detailed in the Doom encounter tier. So that's over here. And how many Doom pools you get? You get 1, 2, 3. Smart that it's not over the top. I think that's a good idea to really kind of balance it out and make sure that you don't just have like 1,000 of them. You know what I mean? Smart. With it, give a creature an advantage on attack roll. Give a disadvantage on a save to a player, not an attack, a save. So like if you really want that monster's ability to go off, because people don't realize monsters' abilities, when they go off, you're probably only going to get to use it once before they get alpha striked and murdered by your players. So being able to go disadvantage on this roll, awesome. Describe it narratively. Once per encounter, refresh, recharge, or otherwise gain 1 additional use of a limited use feature. Awesome. Great idea. Doom is an optional and exists to give creatures some extra staying power against particularly powerful, crafty, or resourceful PCs. Keep in mind, Doom doesn't have to be used in every combat, which you shouldn't, I don't think. I think you tell your players this creature's got Doom because it gives that impending Doom. I think you tell them. The combat encounter is likely the only combat encounter the PCs will face. You have multiple experienced players, or you have more than 4 players. I love that. I think it's a great idea. They have rules for customizing abilities. Very smart. I like this. And now we're going to... I'm going to zoom out a bit so we can fit the whole thing on the page here. And we're going to go through all the art. There's 387 pages. I'm not going to break down the monster manual, or well, the monster vault today. I just want to see the art. I've seen a lot of this already when I was working there. I'm super excited. This is... All right, let's get to it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. 387 pages. That was the first piece. I think that's a drow. Okay, drow mage. Grick. Grick is one of my favorites. Oozes. Okay. That's cool looking. Not my favorite aboleth. Not my favorite aboleth, but still there. Angels. Minotaur. That's cool looking. Animated objects, always a fan. Ankheg, that is frightening. That Ankheg is amazing. I dig this. Do they have a special ability? Bite, acid spray, save for later. The Ankheg quickly digs a small hole and stuffs one creature grappled by it into the hole, burying the creature and ending the grapple. The buried creature is restrained and unable to breathe or stand up. A creature, including a buried creature, can take an action to free itself. Oh my god, it buries people alive. I am beyond excited for that. Hell yes. That is so cool. Please, more of that. Astral Destroyer, super cool art. Azer, Balera, Basilisk, Beher, okay. I'm just gonna start flipping through. Is that a blink dog? Is that their blink dog? Oh, that's a very different interpretation of a blink dog. Centaur, Chimera in action. Chol, those are cool. Oh, they're like ectoplasmic creatures. They're really cool looking. They're fiends. Todd, this looks like something you would have got out of Ghostbuster Slime or a Muscle Man. Ooh, that is really good Chul art. I like this bonus action for the action economy. Cloaker. Cockatrace, great. Quaddle. That is a creepy Dark Mantle. A Death Dog. It's a cool looking Death Knight. Okay. Baylor. I mean, they always look the same. I've never seen a bad Baylor. They're always cool. Ew. Okay. Okay. Nice. That is a fucking amazing Marilith. Great Marilith, actually. That is phenomenal for a Marilith. I'm very happy with that. Huh. Why? Wow. If you... Hold on here. Let's go back up. The scales on that are some of the best scales I feel that I have seen on a drawing in tabletop. What do you think, Todd? I feel like that is some of the best scales I've ever seen. Am I wrong? Like, I feel like that crushes. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, back to the show. Cool. 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 All right. Different Vrock, not purple. That's cool. Darrow. Dero. That is wild looking. That looks like a horrific gremlin creature. I also have a scale brush. I don't know if that was a scale brush, Todd. You think it was? Bone Devil. I like the Chain Devil. One of my favorite Ironies ever. Mushroom Ice Devil. Fantastic Imp. Muir, great. Wow. These are some like anatomically correct looking dinosaurs. I'm a big fan of Doppelganger. I talked about this when I was working for KP. I love that Doppelganger. Dragon Turtle. Oh, they're dragons. So PF2 cut chromatic dragons and metallic dragons and made their own. Bravo. Awesome. Loved them. But for 5e people, if you're going to continue playing and you want the classic inspiration of dragons, check out the progression of size. And they do this for each dragon. Look at this. Each one. Every single one. Every one of them. Was there an Nessie? I didn't notice it. This is crazy. I love those. Those are all, every one of these dragons looks great. And I love the Void Dragon. That Void Dragon art is so dope. Not even wings, just a fucking black hole. White Dragons, personal favorite of mine. Big fan. Yellow Dragon is new to Cobalt Press and Tales of Valiant. Pseudo Dragon, Scorcher, fantastic Drider. Okay. So far, I'm very happy with this. Awesome Ettercap. Great Etten. What's their bonus action? One of these Etten's heads picks a creature. The Etten can see within 30 foot of it, gaining advantage on its next attack against the creature. The other head doesn't like being told what to do and has disadvantage on its next attack. That's so hilarious. Now we're going through the Monster Vault real quick. I'm just going through the art. And then I'll be done. Ooh, Gargoyle looks like a... So, grotesques and gargoyles are separate things, for those who don't know. I do like their version of the gargoyle. Very cool, bat-like looking gargoyle. I'm sure Katie will be happy with that. Freet. Hin. Scylla. These are... That ghoul is fantastic. That's super cool. Best fire giant since Wayne Reynolds. That hill giant is great. It's like a Gargamel hill giant. Stone giant. One of my favorite monsters. You all know that. I like this bonus action stuff that they've added. Very smart choice. Giving them something special to do with a bonus action is such a great choice. Their bugbears are bears in this one. Hobgoblins. All the Hobgoblin art's great. They have a very Cenobite style because they're lawful. Cool clay golem. Flesh golem. Iron golem. Stone golem. Gorgon. Okay. Greyuse. Grick. That is a very different interpretation. Oh, the Ambush Hag is like a fucking alley. Look at this thing. It's like a insectile Ambush Hag. Yes. Yes, I do. So, let me, let's look at a stat block here at the end. Remind me to pull up a stat block. Harpy, Hellhound. Ah, they took out the ability to get a Hellhound as a companion. I really like that. I wish they would have kept it. Homunculus, that's cool. Hydra. So I can actually do it here. So let me zoom in. So when you're looking at a stat block, they did a couple things to make it smaller. One, it's easier to read. Name, CR, type, your AC, hit point, speed, all this stuff is simple. Perception and stealth, these are considered passives. So if you're trying to figure out, are they passives? No, they're just their normal numbers, importance. Resistant, it's senses and languages. Stat bar, you notice that they don't have the score there. I personally believe that the score should be there. I think it is an indicator as a GM for storytelling when you have a scale that is more than 1 to 5 or -5 to +5. I believe it should be there. It is math you have to do that I don't think is necessary because there's enough space here to put them. I really, really, really wish they would have kept it. I really do. And I argued this when I was there, and some other people argued it as well, but it is what it is. But all the monsters work. They're exactly the same. The only thing they added with these new bonus action stuff. Very simple, very clean. Nothing crazy. So yes, Reverse is truly for once, unlike the Xbox, it actually is backwards compatible. Creepy. I like that invisible stalker here. Let me zoom out one more. Kobolds, Kraken. Okay. That I love the slime on the lantern hagfish. That's super cool. A lich. That's a really cool looking lich. That's really cool. Lich Virtuoso? Oh, that's new. That girl got hips. Living Colossal. Lizard folks. Okay. Lichens. That Wereboar is really good looking. Okay. Again, I have not seen a single piece of bad art. These are like their Modrons. Yep. Medusa's cool. Very clean. Very different. Almost kind of sci-fi-ish looking to me, but not bad. Mephit. All these Mephits. The Merfolk. This is the same person who did the Merilith. You can just tell. The Mimic Barrel, baby. Ooh. Okay. I see you. That is awesome. Ew. Mummies. Okay. Iconids. This is cool. This is very cool. Wow. Purple Worms. Roxasha. They kept the reversed hands. Robots? Oh, because Midgard had robots. Oh, look. The rock carrying something. I like the Roper. The Rust Monster has a cool bonus action. They have the Iron Dash. The Rust Monster moves up to half its speed towards the source of metal, which is cool. Sahagin, very cool take on him. We're almost through. What are those? Huh, that's news to me. Selkie. Shadow. That Shambling Mound is fly as hell. That is some like Swamp Thing level stuff. Shield Guardian. Skeleton. These are good. These are really good. Okay. Sturge. Succubus, okay. Their version of Tarrasque is different, a little more turtley, beastal turtley. I don't like the troll. I'm not a fan of that troll. Unicorn's majestic as shit. Cool vampire. These are all great. This is great stuff. Yeah. We're almost through. Different take on a Wraith. I really like the Wyvern. That is great art. Zorn is one of my favorite creatures of the just odd type, but I'm not. I mean, it's okay. Zombies always look good. People know how to do zombies, man. Axebeak, baby. And these are like all your regular monsters in the back of the book, frogs and all that shit. Okay. Cool. See if there's anything at the end of this. See if there's any extra, like, how to do. Appendix. Oh, they give you some regular NPCs, bandits and things like that at the end. Very cool. And then creatures. These are important. This is probably actually a really important section. So, when you're running games, having quick access through tables to an appendix for things is super helpful and very important, I feel, when running a game, because you don't always know what you want, and just being able to scan through the CRs helps a ton. So your challenge rating 1s, quarters, halves, CR1. Yeah, I mean, it's clean. Clean, easy to find. Creature by tag, also very smart if you want a specific kind of creature. This is something that Cobalt Press has always done with their books. Clean. Desert. Okay, clean. All right, I like all this. And then your player's guide. It's a very up-to-date. I guess the encounter structure is probably better in this. I think that this is a good, solid book if you're just getting in. I do love that it's reverse. This is awesome. This is such a great package set for people who want to continue playing 5e because they have so much time into it. So I'm not going to do a quick synopsis on the Monster Vault. I do really like it. I think it's a great book. But that player's book is such a clean update to 5e, everybody. This is great. I'm super happy that they did this. I think this is a much needed update to 5e. While there are some other people putting out 5e products here in the future, their versions of the system, the Dungeon Coach or GM Coach, he's got one coming out with a bunch of people. I know that the gentleman who does Deathbringer is doing his Kickstarter. But like for 5e stuff, this is such a great group to pick up the 5e torch, how Paizo did with 3.5. I think Cobalt Press has actually really got something here. The classes feel great. Character building feels great. And I've spent more time with the product than most people have. I mean, everyone has to remember, when this started as Black Flag, I got brought on board to do media. I've ran a Kobold on Wednesday, Kobold Chats on Wednesday, from that February all the way through August. I've done one-on-ones. I've done audience plays as the betas were coming out. I've walked through all the betas. I've interviewed other companies that are doing it. And then on top of that, we're towards the end going into Gen Con. I had a copy of the beta. I ran a 3-episode arc of Valiant Soil, which is still over on Cobalt Press that you can find with an amazing cast. Showed that you could pick it up and play it immediately. I've shown the difference between 5e Fighter to Fighter, between 5e and Tales of the Valiant back when we're doing that. This is a great addition to 5e. I think this is a good... I'm happy with this. And it's hyperlinked, goddammit. So most important part is that it's hyperlinked. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. A little bit of a longer stream. I'm going to be breaking this up and putting this out over on YouTube as well in shorter bite size. It's just kind of, I'm going to edit it all down to see how that does. But thank you for everyone joining. I might do a bigger dive in the monster book. I do have something really big coming up. I have been working on 3 projects in the background. If you are part of my Patreon, you've already heard about some of them. ETHUANTIA is getting switched to a different system for me to really bring what I want ETHUANTIA to be, which I'm excited about. Magic and Monsters is going to a new system because I won't support 5e in general for like D&D. I'm not going to be buying their products when other people are making things like Tales of the Valiant. So Magic and Monsters Marks of Men are going to a new setting or a new system as well, which I'm really excited for. That's my high fantasy setting. I have something secret in the work for possibly a PF2 thing. And then, yeah, I'll announce what ETHUANTIA is going to. If you're a Patreon member, you already know. If you talk to me privately, you already know. But I'll be doing another stream this weekend, probably tomorrow, to go through some design day stuff with everybody. So you can kind of see what I've been working on in the background. I have done a metric shit ton over the last 2 weeks. This Monday, we'll be back with the first of our last 2 episodes for Cyberpunk. And then we'll be back in June, obviously, with ETHUANTIA. So expect a lot more stuff coming out of EFP. I took a little bit of time off to kind of recuperate. I was, like I said, ill. And then we're going to be doing... Living ETHUANTIA will be coming back. And some more paid GM stuff I'll be doing. And if you're local... Oh, that's a good one. If you are local and you are in the tri-state area, I currently am working with a group that runs... paid GMing slots in Milwaukee, and it's at this crazy awesome restaurant where you can come play with people and learn D&D. So if you haven't get to play, you don't know it, or you want to learn more, I get to run stuff there. I'm going to bring some of this Tales of Valiant over there as well, so I'm pretty excited. But everybody else, pick up Tales of the Valiant, get your pre-orders in, and if you're a 5e fan, I think this is the direction I personally would go with things with what's available right now. So that is it for me today, everybody. I am going to take us out with Kendrick's new diss track, his last diss track. If you know me, I love metal, and I'm also a big hip-hop fan. And man, oh man, if he didn't light some people on fire with this one. That's it for me, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll probably be on around 2 p.m. my time. Have a great one, everybody.
Hey, monster on the beat, ho, Debo, any rap nigga, he a freak though, man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro, nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo, what's up with these?
Hey everybody, if you're watching this after the fact, I would like to tell you thank you so much for joining me today. On the right-hand side, there's going to be a little circle for you to click. That is to subscribe, and there'll be a video for you to watch. I don't know what it's going to be, but click it and help get us to 500 people. Until tomorrow, everybody, have a great one.